Iran warns of far-reaching consequences if Israel not stopped. Israel prepares ground assault on Gaza as Palestinians flee. Israel announces evacuation of residents within 2 kilometers zone next to Lebanon. China says Israel has gone too far. Putin's visit to Beijing underscores China's diplomatic support for Russia. Belgium raises terror alert to top level after 2 Swedes shot dead in Brussels. France deploys 7,000 troops for extra security after teacher slain. And Korea delivered 1,000 containers of equipment and munitions to Russia.
Hello, I'm Johnny. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It's Tuesday, October 17th, and here are your top stories. Axios reported that Iran warned in a post last Saturday that if Israel's war crimes and genocide are not stopped, then the situation could spiral out of control with far-reaching consequences. The post on X by Iran's mission to the United Nations came after Axios reported Tehran warned Israel in a message sent via the United Nations that it would have to respond if Israel carries out a ground offensive in the Gaza Strip. Iran's UN mission posted the situation could spiral out of control and ricochet far-reaching consequences.
Al Jazeera TV reported the UN said that UN Middle East peace envoy Tor Wensland met with Iran's foreign minister Hossein Amir Abdollahian in Beirut last Saturday. Abdollahian then met with Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh in Qatar. When asked about the Axios report, UN spokesman Stefan Dujarric said, all of Wensland's meetings have been to discuss diplomatic efforts to release hostages, secure humanitarian access and prevent a spillover of the conflict to the wider region.
Israel was preparing last Saturday to launch a ground assault in the Hamas-controlled Gaza Strip after telling Palestinians living in the densely populated territory to flee south towards a close border with Egypt. Thousands of Palestinians fled the north of the Gaza Strip on Saturday from the path of the expected Israeli ground assault, while Israel pounded the area with more airstrikes and said it kept 2 roads open to let people escape. Israel says Hamas is preventing people from leaving to use them as human shields.
The only route out of Gaza not under Israeli control is a checkpoint with Egypt at Rafah. Egypt officially says its side is open, but traffic has been halted for days because of Israeli strikes. Egyptian security sources said the Egyptian side is being reinforced and Cairo has no intention of accepting a mass influx of refugees. On Saturday, Israel said it would guarantee the safety of Palestinians fleeing on 2 main roads until 4 p.m. local time. As the deadline passed, troops were massing around Gaza.
Israel's military said on Monday that it has activated a plan to evacuate residents within 2 kilometers of Lebanon. In a statement, the Israel Defense Forces and the Ministry of Defense said the plan had been approved by the Defense Secretary, Yoav Gallant, and included the evacuation of 28 settlements. Residents will be moved to state-subsidized guest houses. The UN aid chief, Martin Griffiths, said on Monday he would be traveling to the Middle East on Tuesday to support negotiations to get aid into the blockaded Gaza Strip.
The UK Armed Forces Minister, James Heappey, has told the GB News channel in the UK that Israel has been behaving as a responsible actor by warning Gazans to evacuate the north of the Gaza Strip and described the south of Gaza as safe haven. The United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees, UNRWA, earlier today noted that Gaza had been without electricity for 5 days. There was limited access to clean drinking water, and more than 1 million people had been displaced.
China's official news agency Xinhua reported China's foreign minister said last Saturday that Israel has gone too far in responding to last week's invasion by Hamas. According to Xinhua, China has an interest in helping resolve the conflict and the underlying issues involving the Palestinian population. Speaking to Saudi Arabian Foreign Minister Faisal, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi said Israel's actions have extended beyond self-defense. The report contained no direct quotes.
以色列有建国的权利，巴勒斯坦同样有建国的权利。
However, Xinhua reported that Wang's remarks during the phone conversation included, China is in intensive communication with all parties to push for a ceasefire and an end to the fighting, adding that the pressing task is to ensure the safety of civilians, open humanitarian corridors for aid as soon as possible, and protect the basic needs of the people in Gaza. Before the Hamas incursion, it was believed that Israel and Saudi Arabia were working toward a normalization of relations with the help of China.
Russian President Vladimir Putin is expected to meet this week with Chinese leaders in Beijing on a visit that underscores China's economic and diplomatic support for Moscow during its war in Ukraine. The Russian leader will be among the highest-profile guests at the gathering, marking the 10th anniversary of Xi's announcement of the Belt and Road policy, which has laden countries such as Zambia and Sri Lanka with heavy debt after they signed contracts with Chinese companies to build roads, airports, and other public works.
Asked by reporters last Friday about a visit to China, Putin said it would encompass talks on Belt and Road-related projects, which he said Moscow wants to link with efforts taken by an economic alliance of ex-Soviet Union nations mostly located in Central Asia to achieve common development goals. He also downplayed the impact of China's economic influence in a region that Russia has long considered its backyard and where it has worked to maintain political and military clout.
2 Swedish nationals have been shot dead in Brussels, and Belgium raised its terror alert to the highest level. A man in a video on social media claimed that he was the assailant and that he was from Islamic State. The alleged assailant, calling himself Abdulsalam El-Gulani and a fighter for Allah. One Belgian newspaper said it was likely that the victims were 2 soccer supporters. Belgium was hosting Sweden in a Euro 2024 qualifying match on Monday evening. The match was suspended at halftime due to security reasons.
A Belgian police spokesperson confirmed on Monday that 2 people had been killed in a shooting incident near the center of the Belgian capital. Video footage posted on the Het Laatste Nieuws newspaper website showed a man in an orange jacket on a scooter at a street intersection with a rifle, first firing 2 shots, then 3 more, then running into a building, firing 2 more shots. One Belgium newspaper said a witness said the shooter shouted, "Allahu Akbar," before the shots were fired.
French President Emmanuel Macron on Saturday deployed up to 7,000 soldiers for increased security patrols as bomb alerts forced the evacuation of the Louvre Museum a day after a teacher was killed in an Islamist attack. Macron's office said the soldiers would be deployed by Monday evening until further notice as part of an ongoing security operation in major city centers and tourist sites. The latest security alert comes as France hosts the Rugby World Cup in less than a year before Paris welcomes the Olympic Games.
France was put on its highest security alert on Friday after a 20-year-old man fatally stabbed a teacher and gravely wounded 2 other people at a school in the city of Arras in northern France. Interior Minister Gérald Darmanin said the Louvre Museum, the Palace of Versailles, and Paris's Gare de Lyon train station were evacuated last Saturday after receiving bomb alerts, which proved to be false alarms. Darmanin said a jihadist atmosphere had developed following events in the Middle East.
The White House said last Friday that North Korea has delivered more than 1,000 containers of military equipment and munitions to Russia for its ongoing war in Ukraine. The White House released images that it said showed the containers were loaded onto a Russian flagged ship before being moved via train to southwestern Russia. According to the White House, the containers were shipped between September 7th and October 1st between Nanjing, North Korea, and Dunay, Russia.
The Center for Strategic and International Studies, a Washington think tank, last week published satellite photos that showed a sharp increase in rail traffic along the North Korea-Russia border. The report said satellite images as of October 5 captured a dramatic and unprecedented level of freight railcar traffic at the Tumingang rail facility. It said images show approximately 73 railcars, while a review of previous satellite images over the past 5 years shows about 20 railcars at this facility at most.
The answer for October 13th was C, escalation. The study aims to provide an explanation to the escalation of the number of death and injury of traffic accidents. Did you answer correctly? Now let's delve into the news of Iran warning of far-reaching consequences. Number 1, genocide. 种族灭绝，大屠杀. They have alleged that acts of genocide and torture were carried out. Number 2, far-reaching. 影响深远的，广泛的. The economy is in danger of collapse unless far-reaching reforms are implemented. Number 3, offensive, 进攻、攻击、侵犯. They launched the offensive on January 10th. Next, we have a multiple choice question for everyone to practice. Which answer would you choose? You can write your answer in the comment section. The correct answer will be announced tomorrow. And that's all for today's Funday News. Be sure to tune into Funday News from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join Funday for free. I'm Johnny Wu, your host. I'll see you next time.